My beloved soul, listen carefully, because what you are about to hear was not meant for everyone. The delay you cried over, the pause that made you question your worth, the silence that felt like rejection, it was never punishment. It was protection. From the very beginning, when you thought heaven had gone quiet, angels were standing between you and something that would have broken you beyond repair. What felt like being held back was actually being held. What felt like loss was interception. What felt like nothing happening was the most intense spiritual activity happening behind the veil. This message comes to you now because the confusion is ending, and clarity is being released. My beloved soul, there was a moment when you almost blamed yourself, when you wondered if you were unworthy, unchosen, unseen. But the truth is far more sacred and far more powerful than you imagined. Heaven delayed you because moving forward at that time would have cost you your peace, your safety, your destiny. The angels did not block you to hurt you, they blocked what was trying to reach you before you were ready. Stay with me till the end, something powerful is waiting for you, because the reason for your delay will finally make sense. There were conversations you were not meant to hear, doors you were not meant to enter, people you were not meant to trust. Had you arrived earlier, you would have been exposed without armor. Had you received it sooner, it would have destroyed you instead of blessing you. My beloved soul, heaven does not punish with silence, it protects with timing. Angels see what you cannot see. They see what smiles hide, what opportunities conceal, what shortcuts cost. And when they saw danger disguised as progress, they stepped in. That job that fell through, that relationship that stalled, that plan that collapsed at the last minute, none of it was random. It was divine intervention. You were spared heartbreaks you never had to experience, betrayals you never had to heal from, losses that would have changed the course of your life. You only saw the delay, angels saw the disaster that never reached you. My beloved soul, do not skip this moment, because what you thought was rejection was redirection of the highest order. There were energies around you that were not aligned with your future. There were intentions aimed at you that were not pure. Heaven slowed your steps so those intentions would expire before you arrived. Angels do not rush what requires protection. They do not release what is not safe to hold. You were delayed because your soul was too valuable to be rushed into the wrong season. And even when you felt forgotten, even when prayers seemed unanswered, you were being guarded in ways you could not comprehend. My beloved soul, there were nights angels stood watch while you slept, days they whispered restraint when you were ready to move, moments they caused delays so precise that you missed accidents, confrontations, irreversible decisions by minutes. You were never unlucky. You were watched. You were never abandoned. You were covered. And this covering was not because you were weak, but because what was coming for you required strength that was still forming within you. The delay was not about punishment, it was about preparation. Heaven was aligning circumstances, maturing your discernment, strengthening your spirit so that when the time came, you would not just receive, you would sustain. Do not leave yet, heaven has more to reveal, because the delay also reshaped you in ways you may not yet recognize. You became more aware, more grounded, less easily impressed, more connected to your inner voice. What once tempted you no longer holds power. What once rushed you now feels distant. That is not coincidence, that is refinement. Angels slowed the timeline so your soul could outgrow what would have limited you. My beloved soul, had things happened when you wanted, you would have settled for less than. You were meant to carry. You would have accepted partial love, fragile stability, temporary success. Heaven refused to let you build your future on a foundation that would crack under pressure. So the angels said wait. And in that waiting, layers were removed. Attachments dissolved. Illusions faded. And even though it felt painful, it was purposeful. Because now, you can see clearly what once blinded you. Now, you can sense what once deceived you. This clarity is proof that the delay worked. You are no longer the same person who once begged for doors to open. You are becoming the one who will walk through the right door without fear. My beloved soul, angels do not protect loudly. They protect silently, strategically, invisibly. They step in before damage occurs, not after. That is why you could not understand the delay in real time. Protection rarely announces itself, it reveals itself later. And later has arrived. You are beginning to notice how things that once felt devastating were actually saving you. How outcomes you mourned were outcomes that would have harmed you. How people who left created space for peace. How endings made room for alignment. This realization is the angelic confirmation you asked for. If you remain till the end, the final word will change everything, because the delay is now turning into divine acceleration. What was paused is about to move with precision, not chaos. What was withheld is about to arrive without loss. What was protected is now safe to receive. My beloved soul, angels are not done with you. They delayed you because your destiny required preservation. And now that preservation has done its work. My beloved soul, now understand this deeper truth that angels are revealing gently, because the delay did not only protect you from external harm, it also protected you from becoming someone you were never meant to be. There was a version of you that would have emerged if things had happened earlier, and that version would have survived, but it would not have flourished. Heaven saw that success without grounding would have hardened you, love without wisdom would have weakened you, speed without clarity would have confused you. So the angels intervened not to deny you joy, but to preserve the softness of your spirit, the purity of your intentions, and the integrity of your future. My beloved soul, timing is not only about events aligning, it is about identity forming. Had you stepped into that season prematurely, you would have had to shrink parts of yourself just to fit. You would have compromised boundaries to keep access. You would have silenced intuition to maintain momentum. Angels refuse to let you betray yourself for progress. The delay was heaven saying your soul is more important than speed. And even though you felt restless, unseen, and tired of waiting, something holy was happening inside you. You were learning patience without losing passion. You were learning trust without surrendering discernment. You were learning how to stand alone without becoming bitter. This inner work could not be rushed, because what is fragile cannot carry what is eternal. Stay with me till the end, something powerful is waiting for you, because the angels are now showing you how the delay reshaped your inner landscape. Notice how you no longer chase validation the way you once did. Notice how you pause before reacting. Notice how your standards quietly rose without you announcing them. This is evidence of angelic refinement. The delay slowed you down enough to hear your own soul again. It removed noise so your intuition could speak. It distanced distractions so truth could find you. My beloved soul, there were moments when you thought you were falling behind others, watching them move ahead while you stayed in place. But angels do not measure progress the way humans do. They measure alignment. They measure readiness. They measure sustainability. Someone can arrive quickly and still lose everything because they were not protected on the way there. Someone can be delayed and arrive whole, healed, and prepared to keep what they receive. Heaven chose wholeness for you. Angels chose longevity over speed. And while comparison made the delay feel heavier, it also saved you from carrying burdens that were not yours to hold. You were not late. You were being timed perfectly for a path that requires strength, not survival. My beloved soul, angels also delayed you to remove false dependencies. There were supports you leaned on that would not have lasted. There were connections you trusted that would have failed under pressure. There were systems you relied on that would have collapsed at the next level. Heaven allowed time to reveal what was unstable before you built your future upon it. The delay exposed cracks while you were still free to step back. It saved you from investing your energy, love, and faith into structures that could not support your growth. This was not loss, this was mercy. Do not skip this moment, because the angels want you to recognize how many silent rescues occurred without your awareness. How many wrong turns were avoided. How many emotional debts were canceled before they accumulated interest. My beloved soul, even your disappointments were curated. Not everything that disappointed you was meant to devastate you. Some disappointments were gentle stops, soft barriers placed just in time. And every time you felt the sting of waiting, angels were strengthening your resilience so you would not break when responsibility increased. They were teaching you how to sit with uncertainty without collapsing, how to trust without control, how to believe without proof. These are not small lessons. These are foundations. And foundations take time because they carry weight unseen. My beloved soul, understand this sacred reversal. The delay you resisted is the reason you will recognize peace when it arrives. Because you waited, you can now distinguish between excitement and alignment. Because you were paused, you can now sense when something is rushed. Because you experienced silence, you can now hear truth even when it whispers. This wisdom could not have been learned through movement alone. It required stillness. It required surrender. It required moments where you chose faith over frustration, even when you did not feel strong. Angels recorded every time you stayed kind while confused, every time you stayed honest while uncertain, every time you stayed hopeful while delayed. These moments did not go unnoticed. They shaped your spiritual authority. Do not leave yet, heaven has more to reveal, because the delay also realigned your relationship with control. You learned that forcing outcomes only creates fractures. You learned that chasing timelines creates exhaustion. You learned that trust is not passive, it is an active choice made daily. This shift prepared you for what is next, because what is coming cannot be forced. It must be received with open hands and steady breath. My beloved soul, angels delay to protect energy as much as events. They delayed you because entering too soon would have drained you instead of fulfilled you. They delayed you because your nervous system needed calm before expansion. They delayed you because your heart needed rest before responsibility. Heaven does not add weight to a soul that has not yet learned how to rest without guilt. So the pause was a lesson in gentleness. A reminder that your worth is not measured by output. A correction that your value is inherent, not earned through struggle. And now, you are beginning to move from striving into alignment. This is how protection looks when it finishes its work. If you remain till the end, the final word will change everything, because the delay is no longer behind you as a wound, it is beneath you as a foundation. You are standing on the very season you once questioned, and it is holding you steady as the next door quietly prepares to open. My beloved soul, angels are now guiding you to see how the delay did something even more subtle and profound. It recalibrated your inner compass so you would no longer mistake noise for guidance or urgency for destiny. There was a time when every open door felt like confirmation, when movement itself felt holy, when progress was measured by speed alone. But heaven knew that if you continued in that way, you would confuse momentum with meaning and arrival with fulfillment. So the angels slowed your path until your spirit learned how to recognize truth without external signs. This was not an easy lesson, because silence can feel heavier than struggle, and waiting can feel lonelier than effort. Yet in that quiet stretch of time, something rare began to grow within you, an unshakable discernment that does not panic when answers delay and does not rush when options appear. My beloved soul, the delay trained your intuition like a muscle, strengthening it through stillness rather than motion. You learn to sense when something feels forced, even if it looks impressive. You learn to notice when peace leaves your body, even if logic tells you to continue. These instincts are not accidental, they are the result of angelic guidance working patiently beneath the surface. Stay with me till the end, something powerful is waiting for you, because this inner recalibration is the very thing that will keep you safe when movement resumes. Angels did not want you to arrive quickly only to lose your way once you got there. They wanted you to arrive aware, grounded, and internally anchored. That is why the delay refined your perception. You no longer ignore subtle discomfort just to avoid waiting. You no longer override your inner voice to please timelines or expectations. This shift is protection in its most mature form. My beloved soul, there is also something else angels protected you from during the delay, the erosion of your self-respect. Had you advanced earlier, you might have tolerated behavior that slowly diminished your dignity. You might have accepted conditions that asked you to prove your worth repeatedly. You might have stayed in situations where your presence was valued only for what you provided, not for who you are. Heaven refused to let that become your normal. So the delay created distance from environments that would have required you to negotiate your value. In that distance, your sense of self stabilized. You began to recognize your own weight, your own depth, your own irreplaceable essence. Angels know that destiny cannot be sustained by someone who doubts their right to be there. My beloved soul, every pause strengthened your boundaries without hardening your heart. You learned how to say no without guilt, how to wait without desperation, how to be alone without feeling abandoned. These capacities were necessary, because what lies ahead will require clarity more than courage, and self-trust more than approval. Do not skip this moment, because the angels want you to understand that your calm today is not accidental, it is cultivated. The storms you survived did not just pass, they educated you. The uncertainty you endured did not just test you, it taught you. Now, when uncertainty appears again, it does not destabilize you the way it once did. You have seen that waiting does not equal loss. You have learned that silence can precede revelation. This wisdom cannot be rushed into existence, it is earned through time and tenderness. My beloved soul, angels also delayed you to sever karmic loops that would have repeated if you had moved forward too soon. Patterns that once followed you quietly dissolved during the pause. Cycles that depended on your reaction lost power when you stopped reacting. Old narratives lost relevance when you stopped feeding them with attention. The delay interrupted momentum that was not serving you. It broke repetition without confrontation. This is a gentle kind of healing that does not announce itself with drama but leaves lasting peace. Angels prefer this method because it preserves your energy while still changing your trajectory. You were not asked to fight what was wrong, you were simply removed from its reach. Do not leave yet, heaven has more to reveal, because this removal was strategic. It ensured that when new doors open, old wounds do not walk through with you. My beloved soul, consider how differently you hold yourself now. There is less urgency in your movements, more intention in your choices. There is a quiet authority in your presence that does not need validation. This did not come from achievement, it came from alignment. Angels delayed external rewards so internal stability could form first. They know that anything gained before stability becomes fragile. Anything received before readiness becomes heavy. That is why the delay protected not only your future circumstances but also your capacity to enjoy them. You are being prepared to receive without anxiety, to succeed without losing yourself, to love without fear of disappearance. This readiness is subtle, but it is powerful. My beloved soul, angels are also reminding you that protection does not always feel gentle in the moment. Sometimes it feels like disappointment. Sometimes it feels like exclusion. Sometimes it feels like standing still while the world moves. But protection always reveals itself through the peace that follows. Look at your life now and notice how much quieter your inner world has become. Notice how chaos no longer excites you. Notice how stability no longer feels boring. These shifts signal that your nervous system has learned safety. Angels taught your body that it does not need to stay alert to survive. This healing could not have occurred in motion. It required pause. It required space. It required time. If you remain till the end, the final word will change everything, because the angels are now preparing to move you again, but this time movement will not cost you your center. You will advance without abandoning yourself. You will receive without bracing for loss. You will step forward without fear of collapse. The delay did not weaken you, it calibrated you. And now, my beloved soul, you are standing at the threshold with eyes that see clearly, a heart that knows its worth, and a spirit that recognizes protection not as punishment, but as love in its most intelligent form. My beloved soul, angels are now drawing your awareness toward a truth that is often overlooked, that delay also reorganizes destiny itself so that when you arrive, you do not collide with resistance but step into cooperation. There were forces, intentions, and unseen variables moving alongside your life, some supportive, some obstructive. Had you advanced earlier, you would have met opposition that would have required constant defense, explanation, or self-justification. Heaven chose a wiser route. Angels adjusted the timing so that resistance would dissolve before you arrived, not after. This is why certain struggles quietly disappeared without confrontation. This is why some obstacles no longer stand where they once did. The delay allowed time to soften circumstances, mature environments, and reposition people so that your arrival would feel natural rather than contested. My beloved soul, destiny is not only about where you go, it is about how you are received. Angels delayed you so your presence would be welcomed, not challenged. Stay with me till the end, something powerful is waiting for you, because this aspect of protection explains why movement ahead will feel smoother than you expect. The friction you feared has already been handled. The resistance you imagined has already expired. Heaven did this without requiring you to fight. Silence accomplished what effort could not. My beloved soul, the delay also synchronized your path with others who were not ready to meet you before. There were people whose healing had to occur first, whose maturity needed time, whose awareness had to expand before crossing your path. Meeting them too soon would have created imbalance. You would have overgiven, over-explained, or over-carried. Angels refused to let you step into connections that required you to shrink or overextend. So timing was adjusted, not to isolate you, but to ensure equality of readiness. This is why future connections will feel reciprocal rather than draining. This is why conversations will feel easy instead of forced. This is why support will appear without you having to beg or perform. My beloved soul, heaven delays to equalize energy. When balance is present, harmony follows naturally. Do not skip this moment, because angels want you to understand that you were spared from relational fatigue, from constantly proving yourself, from explaining your depth to those who could not yet perceive it. The delay preserved your emotional resources so you could offer them where they are valued. My beloved soul, another layer of protection lies in how the pause altered your relationship with expectation. Earlier, you may have imagined outcomes rigidly, believing fulfillment must arrive in a specific form or sequence. Waiting loosened that grip. It taught you flexibility without surrendering standards. It showed you that fulfillment can arrive differently than imagined, often better, often safer. Angels needed you adaptable, not attached. They needed you open, not rigid. This openness ensures that when blessings arrive, you will recognize them even if they wear unfamiliar clothing. This adaptability is protection because it prevents disappointment born from narrow vision. Heaven expands perspective before delivering promise. My beloved soul, angels also delayed you to allow truth to surface naturally. Some truths cannot be forced into the light, they reveal themselves through time. Intentions become clear. Patterns repeat until recognized. Masks fall without confrontation. Had you moved forward earlier, you might have mistaken temporary behavior for permanent character. Time exposed what words could not. The delay acted as a filter, allowing authenticity to emerge while preserving your dignity. You did not have to accuse, investigate, or prove. You simply waited, and truth spoke for itself. This is angelic wisdom at work, letting reality reveal itself while you remain untouched. Do not leave yet, heaven has more to reveal, because this exposure protected your future trust. You are now less likely to be misled by appearances, less likely to invest in inconsistency, less likely to confuse charm with integrity. My beloved soul, consider also how the delay preserved your creativity and vision. Continuous struggle can narrow imagination, forcing survival thinking that limits possibility. Heaven did not want your dreams shaped by scarcity or fear. So the pause created mental space. It allowed you to dream again without pressure. It gave your mind permission to explore without urgency. This creative breathing room is protection because it keeps your vision expansive. What you are building next requires imagination untouched by desperation. Angels guarded this part of you fiercely, because vision determines direction. They refuse to let exhaustion dictate your future. My beloved soul, angels delayed you to protect your capacity for joy. Entering new chapters while depleted would have tainted the experience. You would have been present physically but absent emotionally, too tired to enjoy what you worked for. Heaven waited until your spirit could receive joy without suspicion, until rest no longer felt unsafe, until happiness no longer triggered fear of loss. This readiness is subtle, but it changes everything. It ensures that when good arrives, you will not brace for its disappearance. You will let it stay. Do not skip this moment, because angels want you to recognize how carefully your emotional well-being has been guarded. My beloved soul, protection also extended to your reputation and legacy. Had you advanced earlier, misunderstandings might have defined you, narratives might have been written without context, judgments might have hardened before truth emerged. The delay allowed clarity to form before visibility increased. It ensured that when your presence expands, it will be understood rather than misinterpreted. Angels care deeply about how you are seen, because perception influences opportunity. They waited until your actions could speak louder than assumptions. This is why future recognition will feel aligned rather than controversial. My beloved soul, angels are not impulsive. They operate with foresight that spans beyond immediate desire. Every pause was intentional. Every silence was strategic. Every closed door was temporary by design. If you remain till the end, the final word will change everything, because you are now entering a phase where movement will feel supported rather than resisted. The delay has completed its work. What once felt like stagnation has quietly arranged cooperation, balance, truth, creativity, joy, and clarity in your favor. You are not stepping forward alone. You are stepping forward into a field already prepared, softened, and aligned for your arrival. My beloved soul, this is the final unfolding, where angels gently close the circle and reveal why everything had to happen exactly the way it did. The delay was never a detour away from destiny, it was destiny itself rearranging to meet you at the right level of strength, awareness, and peace. You are no longer the one who waits with anxiety, you are the one who understands timing without resentment. Angels are speaking now with clarity because you are finally able to receive this truth without pain distorting it. What once felt unfair no longer needs explanation. What once demanded answers now rests quietly within you. This is the mark of readiness. Heaven does not rush revelation into a heart still bleeding. It waits until understanding can land softly. My beloved soul, the reason the delay ends now is because you have integrated its lesson. You no longer see waiting as abandonment. You no longer equate pause with rejection. You have learned that protection can feel uncomfortable while it is happening, yet merciful when it is complete. This understanding is what qualifies you for what comes next. Angels move when comprehension replaces confusion. Stay with me till the end. Something powerful is waiting for you, because the closing message is not about what you lost, but about what you are now able to hold. You are prepared for stability without boredom, growth without chaos, connection without fear. These are rare capacities. Many reach milestones quickly but cannot remain there peacefully. You, however, have been shaped to sustain joy without suspicion and success without self-betrayal. My beloved soul, angels are also reminding you that what enters your life now will not require you to chase, convince, or prove. The delay burned away those old patterns. You no longer mistake effort for love or tension for passion. What arrives next will feel calm, mutual, and grounded. This calm is not emptiness, it is alignment. Angels delayed you so your nervous system could learn the difference. You are now able to recognize safety even when it feels unfamiliar. This ability protects your future more than any warning ever could. Do not skip this moment, because this is where the meaning of protection fully reveals itself. The delay ensured that when doors open, you will walk through them with dignity intact and self-trust intact. My beloved soul, notice how your desires have evolved. You no longer want everything at once. You want what lasts. You no longer want intensity without peace. You want depth without instability. This refinement is not accidental. Angels adjusted your timeline so your desires could mature alongside your destiny. Now, when blessings arrive, they will match your current values, not your past cravings. This harmony is rare, and it is why heaven guarded you so closely. My beloved soul, angels are also closing the chapter of self-doubt that once followed you during the delay. You no longer ask if something went wrong with you. You no longer assume silence means failure. You have witnessed how much can happen invisibly. You trust processes you cannot yet see. This trust is spiritual authority. It allows you to move forward without fear of collapse. It allows you to rest without guilt. It allows you to receive without apology. These qualities cannot be taught quickly. They emerge only through lived experience. The delay gave you that experience without destroying you. Do not leave yet, heaven has more to reveal, because angels want you to understand that the protection did not end when the waiting ended. It simply changed form. What once slowed you will now guide you. What once blocked you will now direct you. The same intelligence that delayed you will now accelerate you gently, responsibly, sustainably. You are not entering chaos. You are entering flow. My beloved soul, the final protection was ensuring that when you look back, you would not feel regret for who you became along the way. You did not harden. You did not lose empathy. You did not compromise integrity. You waited without becoming bitter. You grew without becoming arrogant. This preservation of character is the greatest miracle of the delay. Angels value who you are becoming more than what you achieve. They know achievements fade, but character carries destiny forward. Because your character remained intact, what comes next will not require repair. My beloved soul, angels are sealing this message with reassurance. You are not behind. You are not catching up. You are arriving precisely when you are meant to, with exactly what you need, and without the burdens you were spared from carrying. The future will not punish you for waiting. It will reward you for understanding. The doors opening now are opening because you can walk through them whole. If you remain till the end, the final word will change everything, and here it is, the delay is complete. Its purpose is fulfilled. You were delayed for protection, not punishment, and now protection has transformed into permission. Permission to move, to receive, to trust, to rest, to build, to love, to expand without fear. My beloved soul, angels are with you still, not to slow you now, but to steady you as you step forward. The waiting season has done its work. What begins next will feel different, because you are different. And this difference is the evidence that heaven never left you, never forgot you, and never intended to harm you. The delay was love acting intelligently, and now love releases you forward, safely, gently, and completely. Type Amen.